Hello. How are you doing out there? Yes, baby. I told y'all I was coming back, um, and I wanted to make sure that I stay with my stay with my word and carrying on. I'm trying to make sure this light is not okay. Maybe that's it. That's a little better, I think. But do forgive me, darlings. That's better. Wait a minute. I'm trying to get into a way to where I'm not bleeding in this light. That's better. Okay. You guys can see me well. Wonderful. Cutesy, and all of those good things. I am still here at the Donut Factory trying to get some things done. And I'm multitasking a little bit. But nonetheless, I want to say with all of you, thank you for tuning in and all of that. This is Demetrius Big Meats Taylor. You're going live right here on YouTube with me. And I want to say thanks for coming in and all of those shenanigans. Now, wait a minute. This thing keeps saying I got a bad connection. Oh, shit. Anyway, we're gonna make this happen. So, I'm coming to you right here on YouTube Live, darlings. And I wanted to share with you my commentary on Iyanla Fixing My Life. And I want to go to Memphitz and carrying on. His particular program was very revealing. And you see, I called today and titled today's video, honey, Memphis is a man of integrity. And I say that because he did not have to, and I think I just found what's going on. Okay, I don't like that. Okay, there we go. He did not have to do what he did with Iyanla. However, I'm glad that he did, because this was for him. I never knew his story or whatever. In fact, he's relatively new to me. Excuse me. Pardon me. He's relatively new to me because I don't follow his music or anything like that. I know he's responsible for working in the industry with some of the greats and carrying on. However, looking at him and understanding and realizing that his mom was the one who contacted Iyanla to come in or to assist with his healing and carrying on and having him come through breakthroughs and etc. I will say and give it to the brother that this particular episode was very insightful. It had me. Well, y'all gonna hear this all the time when watching these things. I cry. I'm a very emotional person and carrying on and dealing with the healing process. I'm very emphatic. So I end up feeling a lot of what's going on. So that's because doing this kind of work is a little difficult for me. Even though I do it, I consider myself to be a student of Iyanla's. Even though I've not met her yet, it's coming. God is coming. Uh, I consider myself to be one of her proteges and things of that nature. And watching this particular program, Memphis has really ignited something in me as far as her work where she works with men, particularly black men. Um, for a long time, I was always wanting to find out who her male equivalent would be in this type of work. Um, I consider Dr. Steve Perry to be one of them. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, the educational person, um, who I call this generation's Joe Clark. But for a long time I thought he was her male equivalent. But in dealing with Memphis and his issue with coming to grab closure for the death of his father, well, actually the murder of his father, uh, there was some cute revelations that came out of this particular story. And I'm very thankful that he was willing to have that, to share this experience with us. Um, Again, Iyanla starts off very cutely when she tells him, listen, we're not here to make TV. I understand that you're from the entertainment world and all of that, but we're not here to make television. We're here to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And wait a minute, this thing keeps saying a very bad connection. I'm hoping this goes through. I'm going to be pissed if it's got gaps. Um, but let's get into it. Miss Mama calls and sends the letter to Iyanla. It's like, okay, you know what? My son, honey, is in need of help. And I'm concerned. And I want to make sure that everything is cool. So along this particular journey, some of the issues that had come out of that were rather uh, number one, that the family itself needed closure. Number two, understanding that the mother who has dealt with the grief of losing her husband in the way that she did, particularly in this day and age, to know that the clan is still rising like that. And that was what, 16 years ago? So please, we're talking still, that's in the 90s and things of that nature, that the clan absolutely, murdered and desecrated his body and dismembered him and carried on. What? Wow. That is very significant, and to say, and it speaks to what we're dealing with in this day and this time, okay? As far as the racial climate, and it's interesting that this particular story comes out now. Very interesting that it comes out now versus at another time or whatever, because with the racial climate that we're dealing with now, with his sister Candace, dealing with the whole idea of having now being a daddyless daughter, do at the hands of someone else, and that's been a whole big thing. That's a series, fatherless sons and daddyless daughters, and usually that happens when, she talks. This is a series that she does when we talk about the men being absent from the home, but in this particular case, he was taken from the home and murdered and wasn't able to be there for his children in that particular capacity. And so we have that issue to deal with. We have the family dynamic of the mother covering for the family and holding on to all of that to protect her children, which in her protection of them caused them to not have the closure that they needed. You know what I'm saying? And so it started a little path, and it starts that whole pattern of covering up, hiding, running, not wanting to deal with it, not wanting to experience the pain that goes through, covering it up, doing something else, and this, that, and the other. But this particular show really got deep, and I was particularly moved by some of the exercises that she did. When she only did the one, the main one. No, she did a couple, but the main one was when she had Memphitz to dig those holes. When he dug those holes, and then she told him to stand in them, and as they were talking, she covered his feet and basically planted him in those holes. Okay, that was a significant exercise because it just shows what we do in life. We create these holes, and then we end up letting life replant us in something that we started. We get ourselves into it, and then we stay there, not knowing what to do. Thank you. Not knowing what to do, and then feeling as though we don't know how to get out of it. And how about that? So, 239. Okay, as we go through all of that, as we look at this particular exercise, I thought this was absolutely profound. That he was able to see and come to grips with his own choices, his own fortitude, and his own power. Okay, understanding his power, what he was responsible for, what he can then change. I love the fact when she said, "Okay, get out," and uh, gave him no instruction. Wait a minute, very bad connection. Gave him no instruction on what to do. Okay, and in not having instruction on what to do, uh, it allowed him to have to think for himself. It allowed him, it showed him how he could get out. It showed him how he was able to use his own tools. Because we have everything that we need in order to get over in life. Oftentimes, either we don't know that we have it, and or we don't know how to use what we have to do it. And so he was able to pull himself up out the holes and things. So that exercise was very significant, uh, and showing him, as a metaphor of what it is that he's doing with his life. The other exercise, well, it wasn't an exercise. What it was when he was comforting his sister when she was having a problem dealing with the pain of telling the story. Everybody was like, "Okay, I don't want to do this. Let's just go. Let's just go. We don't have to do this. We don't have to stay here. We don't have to." And that was the whole point of that. The whole point of the exercise, baby, was you have to face it. You have to sit down there and face it. You have to deal with it. You have to experience the pain of what that is. So many times, that's one of the most common things that she says throughout the season and the run of this particular program. You've got to give yourself permission to experience the pain. You've got to let your heart break so that it can be healed. Because trying to keep yourself and trying to stay rigid and trying to stay, "Oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good," oftentimes it doesn't fortify the richness of your soul, and you end up becoming stagnant. Most of the time we end up living there. I'm reminded of an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine when Commander, what was the commander's name? I can't think of his name. Avery Brooks' character, he was the commander, and when he was dealing with his own entities, and they kept saying that, "No, you live here." Every time he was having a problem, he always went back to the death of his wife. And in that particular episode, they were saying you have a linear existence because this is where you exist. Everything about you stays here at this moment. And that there was so indicative of life. And ever since that episode aired, I have always looked at that and look at how we as people migrate to those areas that has cost and brought us most pain. We usually stay there. Everything else about life we shape life around those horrific experiences, the ones that have been the most damaging to us. In this case with Memphis, it's the death of his father. And I want because I don't want to just downplay and say the death, no, the murder of his father. And in dealing with that, and to know that in order for him to master, he had revelations with the exercise when she said, "Have that conversation with your father," and she put up a memorial with his picture and things, and he was able to start that process of letting go, and was able to weep, and was able to this, and was able to that. Now, mind you, again, I'm going to stress, we've only seen an hour of what was probably 2 or 3 days worth of recording. So whatever this process was, for him to come out, to have that wailing moment, because one of the things that I love about Iyanla is that anytime it deals with something very sensitive and things, and dealing with men, she always said, "I'm always going to let you keep your dignity." Because oftentimes as a man, we have been inoculated with all this old bullshit of what a man ain't supposed to do. And a man ain't supposed to cry, a man ain't supposed to. But yet a man is human and deals with all these emotions and have emotions and carrying on. And so we have to learn how to weed through them. And one of the things that I love about the show is that she always allows men to keep their dignity by not keeping the cameras in their faces if they're not ready. If this is something that is low, that's going to require the big wail or whatever, she allowed, she will protect him. And I love, love, love that. In this particular instance, as he was starting to come to grips with it, and he was starting to share and to let go and to release, when she sent them out into the woods to go and weep and just let that go. I love how she didn't let the cameras get in his face. She did not let him have to experience that for the world to to possibly ridicule and carry on, because it was traumatic enough to go through the experience. Now you have to sit down there and heal from the experience. And that there was very something. The fact that he admitted and came to terms with understanding that the reason why he has his drug usage is to remind him or to forget that his father existed. When he said that, I think that was one of the most powerful breakthroughs there. The other powerful breakthrough was when he said he looked at that picture and he saw senior on the picture. He said, I'm a junior, and I realized that I have not been upholding the senior. I have not been, representing the senior. And that I felt was absolutely phenomenal in the breakthrough. I felt that there was part of the goal, to see, listen, okay, daddy may not be here, but you are the legacy. You get to be and keep him alive and well by showing the world what he has imparted in you, what he has taught you, how he's raised you. You honor your father and this is to everyone. You honor those who have gone before you by the way you live your life. If it was a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, brother, sister, however that is, you honor their lives by living your best. And then by allowing yourself the opportunity to shine, to show what contributions that person has made to your life, good, bad, or indifferent. Because if it was a bad contribution to your life, then that means everything about you is going to strive to be the betterment of it. So you can rise above the hardships that the experience caused or the person may have caused you in life. If it is a joyous person, someone who you cared about deeply and y'all were very close, then this is where you sit down and you allow yourself and give yourself permission to be the legacy. You are a part of the legacy of that person. You then now get to all the wisdom and all the jewels and things that they taught you. You get to impart that to someone else, whether it be a family member or not. You get to do that. And that's why this show is very, very, very important. Look at it. When it first come on, Iyanla and the mother are sitting down having a conversation. So now they're going mother to mother, sister to sister. Let me talk to you, girl, because I understand what you're going through. And then she lost a husband. Iyanla has lost a daughter, and is divorced, and carrying on. So be that we're single parents and this, that, and the other, and then having to understand the cruelty that her husband was taken from her. That there is from one woman to another, understanding that, damn girl, wow, I got your back, or wow, how can I support you? Those are always significant. Also, how she catered to Candace, the sister, and was able to allow her and give her the space that she needed, and to give her the okay and the coping skills that she needed to break and not be, to allow her to break and have comfort in that breaking. Because one of the things about it is, this is not saying that the mother couldn't do it, or wouldn't do it. I'm going to say wouldn't do it. It's just that she couldn't do it because she was harboring her own pain, her own this, and that was probably too much to bear, to have her children's anguish and things, and to have her children's their to have their what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say problems, but just to have all their attributes of going through all this added on to hers and to put that weight on her. I don't think she was able to or just couldn't do it in that particular perspective. So for this particular episode, I think was absolutely heart-filled and things. And so now the question becomes about the rest of the struggle. You know, where do we go from here? Because this is just step one of the healing. You know, to acknowledge and to go through. Okay, my father has been murdered by the Ku Klux Klan. So now, okay, what do we do with that? Because after you heal from it and you accept that that was a fact, now how do you move on to let your life shine and to let it reflect? Hell, he's in the music industry. That could have been the next song to come out. You know what I'm saying? To push to someone to sing or to rap on or whatever. I think the possibilities are endless, and I think it's also empowering once he takes control over the emotion versus letting the emotion and the situation control him. Because this could be a very lucrative thing. You know, in the music industry, honey, the personal stuff goes over very well. When folks can relate to you, it goes over well. So I am challenging the powers that be with this particular show to where let that be the goal. Let him outline what his life is, and then let him tell you what he want to do, and encourage him to stay on the right track. Okay. So yes, as y'all can see, honey, I'm yawning, I'm scratching my head, and I'm laid out. I'm just not laid out. I'm stretched out in my chair and stuff, and all of that. But I wanted to touch bases with you on the second show of the series for season 6 of Iyanla Fixing My Life. This here, Memphitz Beats, is a man of integrity. Okay, because he could have taken that other road and, you know, cussed and fussed and this, that, and the other. But I don't think it would have been easy. One of the things that he said while leaving was, you know, if I'm going to rehab and everything. Did you hear when he said that? Okay, he didn't understand how the situation was. Is this like a jail? Because, you know, I'm sure when everybody think rehab or whatever, they think, oh, you got to go get clean. You got to be on the inside for 30 days. And it's not like, you know, it's a lockdown or whatever until it's time for bed or whatever the case may be. But what it is in his mind, he sat down there and equated prison life with being inside of a treatment clinic or treatment center. And so we had to debunk all that. This was a very powerful episode. And I'm gagging. I am totally and completely gagging. So with that, I'm going to end this with him. I'm going to do a third one to talk about the new one that just came on with the 7 brothers. Okay? That is going to be a doozy because that there is coming in parts. They have, I think, 3 or 4 different parts to that. And so this is going to be a caseload. And I love it when you get into cases because it allows us to walk through this life knowing that there's help on the other side. And I'm going a long way around what I'm saying because I'm freezing. But in this being a 4-part episode, this here shows us the case study in all of this. You see what I'm saying? And it shows us the different steps and the different parameters. You got 8 people because she's bringing the father in. No, I'm sorry, it's going to be 7 because they lost one brother. One brother is incarcerated. So it's going to be the 7 of them there. And each one of them have a different story to tell. Okay, then on top of it being a different story to tell, it's all one and the same because they're the same blood. And this is going to be a fascinating series. So that we can see what comes out of it. We already know the 2 queens, honey. It was 2 gay children that's up in their biological siblings and things. So that there, one would think it would be a little bit easier. But most of the time, when you have other gay children in the family, it's not. In the immediate family, that is. So that there is that. You know, I want you to take some time out to like and subscribe my pages and things. If you want to know anything about dishing tea, I encourage you to go to www.dishingtea.com. That way you can find out more information about dishing tea and support me here and there. We have a new campaign out with my book, Revelations, Affirmations, and Confirmations. It's the companion piece to my first book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. So you can order your copies now, and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll have the link and stuff available for you. But with that, this particular episode of Iyanla Fix My Life gets an A+ all day. All day. So, having said that, let me get myself together because I got to finish my paperwork and I need to go either take me a no-dose or get me some chocolate or something because my sleep is trying to come down on me. And, yeah, well, I don't need that. Okay. So having said all that, you may finish your crumpets, my darling, because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meats right here on YouTube Live. So let me get to getting and let's make that happen, okay? I'll talk to y'all. I'll be back with the third video soon, all right?